everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please Paper Crafts, and this video is part of the Let's Get Organized YouTube Hop, where each month we focus in on a different area or items in our craft room and share tips and ideas on how to store and organize those items. So please be sure to check out everyone else's videos that is participating in this YouTube Hop, and I'll have links to their videos in the description below. Okay, so for this month we're going to be talking about smaller paper pads and paper scraps. And I'm going to break this video up into a couple of different parts. We're first going to start off by talking about smaller paper pad storage. I'll talk a little bit about the organization part of that. And then I'm going to share some tips on how to organize and store paper scraps. I already do have several videos on my YouTube channel where I did share tips on how to store and organize paper pads, the smaller ones as well as the 12x12s, and then also paper scraps. So I've actually touched on this topic before. I'll put links to those videos in the description below, but I did change up the way I'm doing things, so I think I have some new information to share with you guys in this video. So I did change up my storage solution for my smaller paper pads. And that's partly because I moved to a new house, and so I have a different setup in my craft room, and I have different furniture, and also I have a large closet now. So I am storing all of my paper pads in the closet, and I'll share a little video clip here of I'll share a little video clip of the closet and how I have my paper pads stored there. And I originally was using a bookshelf to store my smaller paper pads. So I have them stored on a bookshelf like this, and I have these tabs that I put on there, so I could easily identify the different paper pads that I had without having to pull them off the shelf. And that doesn't really serve as much of a purpose anymore because now I'm storing all of them in bins. So I started off with these little bins right here. These are from the Dollar Tree. I got these a few years back, and it's the Sterilite bin. This is 9 inches long by 7 3/4 inches wide, and it's about 6 inches tall. And you could probably pick this up though at Walmart or Target or any of those types of stores. They do sell the Sterilite product, but this one works really well. You want to just get a bin that's square, that doesn't narrow down at the bottom. So one of the tips that I can give you guys if you're looking for storage for paper pads is just bring one of your paper pads to the store with you, and as you're shopping around and looking at different containers, just see if it fits. That's what I do. So, and if you're in like a store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby, you can just go over to the scrapbooking section and pick yourself up some 12x12 and 6x6 paper pads and carry them around the store with you. So that's kind of what I do sometimes as I'm shopping, to find a container that will fit a specific type of item. Okay, so I did start off with this bin, and it works okay. The thing that I don't like about it is it's fairly short, and where I have these paper pads stored is on top of some cubes. And these are Michael's Recollections cubes. I don't think Michael sells these anymore, but these are the 14-inch cubes. And so I was really not utilizing the space because this is only about 9 inches long. So I could really add some more storage by using a bigger bin. And so I went shopping online, and I was able to find this bin right here that comes from Target. It's the Bright Room bin. It's a fridge and pantry bin. And this one is 14 7/16 inches long. So it's a perfect size to fit on top of the Recollections cubes. And then it's 6 7/8 inch wide. It's almost 7 inches wide. And then it's shorter than this one, which I actually like the shorter one because it allows you to be able to see the contents a little bit better. This one is only about 4 inches tall. So this is an awesome bin to use to store the 6x6 and 6x8 paper pads. And then it allows you to just flip through the different paper pads, and you can see everything that you have there. So that's how I have these paper pads stored. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the organization part, because when you're working with your craft room and trying to organize it, there's actually two parts to the organization. There's how you store those items, and also how you organize the items. Sometimes how you store it is how you have it organized. But there's ways that you can store an item and organize it completely differently than how you have it stored. And so to do that, you can use reference guides for reference cards or different types of reference materials, and I'm going to show you the ones that I have here. This is for my paper pads. It includes the 12 by 12 and also the smaller paper pads. And the way that this works is that I have these two books. One is by Rainbow, which is different types of color schemes. And then I have also by style. And then this one I have by theme. And so the way we can organize something without storing it in that way is to create a reference to that item. So I went online and I downloaded a whole bunch of images of the front covers of the paper pads. Now, if you can't find the image online, you can just take a picture with your phone or your camera and then just print it out. And I printed this out on just plain printer paper and then just cut it. So I have, I'll show you here. So I've been working on adding another reference guide to my craft room, and this one's going to be on collections. So this is paper pads, and I'm going to add another reference book that's going to be collections. And so I was able to fit two of these on each sheet of paper, and then I just cut it with my paper trimmer. And what we have here is, this is all of my paper pads, and I have everyday, then I have pastels, we have brights and darks, and then I have neutrals, and then I have a couple of categories here that are styles. I have retro and then vintage. And then in this book, I have by theme, so we have like seasons, travel, boy, girl, cat, dog, florals. So the different themes or styles that you have, it's really going to depend on the type of scrapbooking that you do and what types of paper pads or collections that you purchase. But this is what I use for my paper pads. And what's really cool about it is that you can organize your paper pads in any order. And the way that you find it is on every single paper pad I have, I actually numbered them. So I have them stored in my closet by one, starting with the number 1, going all the way up into however many paper pads I have. And then as I'm going through and trying to find a paper pad, I can just go here and say I want to use some bright colors. I can just easily flip through all of the ones that have bright colors, and I can decide, oh, I want to use this Southern Belle paper pad. Then I can just flip it to the back side, and right here it tells me exactly where I have this stored in my craft room. So this is in my storage cubes, number 56. So I can just run over to my closet and grab number 56, and I'll be able to easily find this. And it's really awesome. So I don't have these stored by category in my closet. I just have them stored numerically. And it really works well because as I add new paper pads into my collection, I can just give it the next number, stick it in the closet, and I'll print out the paper, and then I'll know that I have that available to work with, and I'll just add it to one or more of the categories. So that's another really awesome way that you can organize, is if you want to store something, say, under brights, but you also want to store it under summer, you could print it twice and then just put that reference card in different sections in your reference book. So I think sometimes if you're trying to organize something in your craft room and your storage is not really working out, just think about maybe how you could store your items in, say if you have to store it in a closet, you can create some kind of a reference book to be able to easily find those items when you need to work with them. So I've been working on a lot of different organization projects over the last year, and one of those is to get my scrapbooking collections organized. And so that's a bit of a challenge because when you have a scrapbooking collection, you can have 12 by 12 paper, the paper pads, smaller and larger ones, washi tape, bulky embellishments, you know, all kinds of different things that go with that collection. And so I have my paper collection stored in the Calyx, and I did create a video on how I store and organize my scrapbooking collections. I'll put a link to where you can find that video in the description below. But basically what I'm doing is I'm using different pockets and sleeves to store all of the different things that come with the collection. So depending on the size of the collection, if I just have a collection with paper and maybe a 12 by 12 sticker sheet, I might use the record sleeve, or also you can just use a 12 by 12 page protector. The heavy duty page protectors work really well because you can store about 20 pieces of paper in those. And I just cut off the part that has the place for the binder, the 3 holes. And so you can use something like that. or in this case, I have a little bit of a larger collection. So I'm using one of the Power project folders from Creative Memories. And this one is awesome because you have the place in the middle for your 12 by 12 papers. And then there's a tall pocket here at the top and two smaller pockets. And then on the back are the 6 by 12 pockets on the back. And so it's really awesome that you can see everything that you have, and it makes it really organized and keeps everything together. But there's sometimes things that are really bulky, like paper pads, and also things like washi tape. And what you can do in the case of having something like that, you can build a reference card like what I did here for my washi tape. And so I have this washi tape, so instead of storing this washi tape in with the collection, which would be kind of a challenge, I'm just going to create a reference card. And this one I created on some plastic acetate, just because with washi tape, if you want to be able to see what that washi tape is going to look like on your project, if you put it on white paper, it's going to change the look of it. And so this way, if you create something with the plastic, you can just lay this on top of your project and be able to see what that washi tape is going to look like on the project before you use it. So it's a really awesome way to keep track of what you have for the collection so that you have things organized, but it's also a tool that you can use while you're scrapbooking. So I can just put that here, and then when I'm working with this collection, I know that I have this washi tape to use. So you can also do this with other things like paper pads. So I just went ahead and I printed out, here's a couple that I did. This is a Simple Stories Vintage Bliss paper pad that I have. This one is for Sunshine and Happiness. And I don't have a paper pad for this particular collection. I'm just showing you this one because it's the last one I work with. And I just happen to have it right here on my table. Okay, but you can just take and print these out, just cut it out and stick it in with the rest of the paper collection. And also you could write on the back of here where you have this stored in your craft room. And that way, when you go to pull that collection out to use it, you'll know that you have this paper pad available, and if you decide that you want to use that for your project, you can just go grab it. So that's what I'm planning to do with my paper pads eventually. I'm hoping to have anything that I have that's part of a collection, I'm going to print it out and then just put this little piece of paper in with my 12 by 12 kit. So because I've been working quite a bit with my scrapbooking collections, I decided to go ahead and create a reference guide for my scrapbooking collections. These are just paper pads, these two books here. I started out doing another reference guide for the collections, and these are stored in my craft room by manufacturer and then by collection name. So they're alphabetical on my shelf, on my Kallax unit. And so that's what I have right now. I just have them organized that way. Eventually, I think that I will probably do something similar to what I did here, so I can organize it by theme, and that way it'll make it easier for me to be able to find things as I'm looking for them. So say I wanted to create a layout for a birthday. If I had a theme that was birthday or celebrations, I could just flip through here and find all of the scrapbooking collections I have that are part of that theme. So I think that's going to be really useful once I get this created. But for now, I'm still in the process of trying to find all the pictures and printing all of this out so that I can get this going. And I have some more here that I have not cut out yet. So I also wanted to mention for these reference guides, I'm using the disc bound system. And this disc bound system, you can get disc in different sizes. And then the other thing you need to use this disc bound system is a punch. And I have the 𝗬𝗲𝗀 punch, but there's other companies you can purchase this punch from. I think Happy Planner has one as well. And if I would have not started using this 𝗬𝗲𝗀 punch a long time ago, I would probably purchase the Happy Planner because it's a little bit less expensive. And I also like the style of the Happy Planner one. One of the things that I found with the different punches is if you use a punch, one of these disc bound punches, they're sometimes a different shape. So it might have a longer tail here, and so it's different. So I think with the Happy Planner one, it has a longer tail, and I like that better because the paper doesn't come out as easily as this one does. One of the biggest advantages to using the disc bound system is that you can go into the middle of your book and you can easily take a page out and then go to a different part and put that page back in. So it's really easy to take the pages in and out of of whatever you have. And this was originally used for calendars and planners and stuff like that. So that's how I was using it originally, is with planners. And depending on the size of your book, they have the different size rings. So eventually, once this book gets bigger, I'll probably use bigger rings on this reference guide. Okay, if you don't have the disc-bound system and you want to create a book like this, you could just use a 3-hole punch or your hole punch that you have in your craft room, and maybe something like these album rings or the what do they call them? Bookbinding rings. And just use a couple of these to create your reference guide, and that works too. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about the paper pads and also the organization for the paper pads with these reference guides, I want to talk a little bit about the paper scraps. And I did have a video that I did on my YouTube channel a while back where I shared tips on how to deal with your paper scraps. And so please be sure and go check out that video. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But I'll share with you some additional tips that I have for dealing with paper scraps. If you're using a scrapbooking collection and you have paper scraps, one of the things I like to do if I have border strips and I'm using one of these Creative Memories project folders is you can just tuck the border strips in there at the top, and makes a really good place to store those. The border strips are really hard to store sometimes. They can get damaged because sometimes they're very small, but they're like long. So a lot of times they get bent if you store them in with your 12 by 12 paper. And so that's really cool. If I have things that I cut apart, I'll add them in with the ephemera. And then if I have smaller pieces of paper, one of the things I started doing is I just would go ahead and use a 12 by 12 page protector, because the 12 by 12 page protector is about the size of the 12 by 12 paper. And you can just go ahead and any paper that I cut into, I'll just add it in here. And I'm just going to show you guys. I have paper in all different shapes and sizes here that I've cut into. And you're just going to go ahead and tuck it in to this sleeve. And then if you're using these project folders like this, or even the record sleeves, this 12 by 12 page protector will fit inside of this. Okay, so you could use that. Now, if you have smaller bits of paper, you could use an 8.5 by 11 page protector. You could use the sleeves that we use for the thickers, which is the ones like this. They're about 6 by 12. And so just different sleeves or plastic pockets like this to collect your scraps for that collection, and then just add it in with your other stuff. So I think that works out really well. And I like doing this because then that way it's easier to get things in and out. So I can grab my 12 by 12 paper without having to worry about all those scraps going everywhere. So that's one of the things I recently started doing, and it works really well. I like storing my scraps that way. Okay, so another way that you can store your larger scrapbooking scraps is maybe you have paper by color. So I have some flip bins in my closet, and I have those stored by different categories like rainbow. I have colors. I also have them stored by different types of paper like polka dots, stripes, all different types of paper. And what I do in that case is I'll just use those sleeves. I'm just going to pull this out. I'll show y'all a picture of my flip bins that I have in my closet. And I just have this stored right at the front of the bin for my colors. For my themed items, the ones that are different like polka dot, stripes, different things like that, I have them just right in front of the of each one of those. If I have 12 by 12 sheets of paper, I just have all the scraps stored in one of these sleeves right in front of that category. Okay, so and in this case, I just it looks like I have this extra one here. This is really red and pink. Not exactly sure why I did that. But I just used these, this is, what are these? Post-it, like 3M little tabs. And I just wrote on it with a pen. And so I just added the name of the color up here at the top. And so when I go into my craft room, I'm looking for paper by color, and I just need a small piece of paper, I might just grab this and try to use the paper that's in here. This is my yellow paper. So I just have larger scraps. And so as I'm doing more scrapbooking than I'm doing card making, I started doing this for any large piece of paper that I have left over that's not part of a collection. So this is how I store my larger scraps. And before, I want to say it was around 2017 when I retired from my job, I switched from doing card making to scrapbooking. I still do both, but before I quit my job, I was mostly doing card making because I didn't have a lot of free time, and card making was easier, smaller projects. And also I love to give cards to people for their birthday and different occasions. So I mainly did card making for probably maybe 10-15 years. And before that I was doing scrapbooking. So I did scrapbooking for a while, then I switched to card making. And then in 2017 I switched back to scrapbooking. But I still love card making, but scrapbooking is my primary thing that I love to do. So I have more bigger scraps now than when I originally created that other video where I shared how I break down the scraps of paper. So any large piece of paper, I try to store this way. I'm not going to cut it down. But if it's a smaller piece of paper, then I will go through the process of cutting it down into different shapes. So I have a 6x6 shape, 4x6, and shapes like card fronts. So it's really awesome to take extra paper that you have in your craft room if you have small scraps, and you can cut it down into the size that you use for like an A2 card, the card front. And if it's a really small scrap of paper, like something that's a 2-inch strip, I will take those and use those for tags. So I have a whole bin of extra paper that's cut into 2-inch strips, and those I use for tags. And then if it's a longer strip of paper that you use for borders, I have another place in my craft room where I have those stored by color. If it's just strips of paper, sometimes I'll put it in with that. So I think it's okay to store and organize things differently. Even if I have this system where I have these larger scraps stored, if it's a small skinny scrap, a lot of times I'll put it in with my border strips, which is stored in a different place in my craft room. So I think that's all I have to share with you guys on how I store and organize my smaller paper pads and paper scraps. And y'all be sure and go check out everyone else's videos that is participating in this YouTube hop. We haven't been having as much of a participation lately in the hop. That's partly my fault. I'll give y'all a little bit of a channel update. You've probably noticed that I haven't been posting as many videos on my YouTube channel. And that's been partly because I've been having some health issues, and then partly because I've been a little bit in a funk, and then partly because I've just had all kinds of different problems with my computer, my phone, my camera, just everything that can break. It's just been so stressful trying to create videos when I have so many different problems. Losing video footage, my laptop died, and my laptop wasn't even that old. And I finally got everything off the laptop. I bought a new laptop, set it up, and then that one died. And so I had to send that back to the company. In the meantime, I'm trying to figure out how to get my files off of there. And because I usually do backups, but I created a video for Simple Story Saturdays, and it took me a while to get that video footage off of the computer that died. So I'm going to be posting that video up on my channel soon. And then on top of all of that, I had moved this past year, and so I'm still struggling a bit with trying to get my house set up. And I am making progress. I finally got some pictures hung up on the walls in my new house, and I did get the curtains hung up in the master bedroom. So I'm actually making a little bit of progress. But that's been a little bit depressing, knowing that I have all these projects to work on and things that I need to do, and just being exhausted and tired from all the problems. So I'm really hoping that I'm going to get more stuff done in the house, and maybe get past some of these technical problems with the computers and the phones, and I'll be able to have more time to devote to creating videos and not. I feel like I waste a lot of my time trying to deal with broken things. So you probably also noticed that I haven't been posting as many videos of my two dogs, Bella and Lilybell, and that's been in part because they are getting older. They sleep a lot, so I don't really think I'll want to watch videos of them sleeping. And the other thing is that they're starting to have health problems because they just turned 13 in October. And they have the same birthday as my friend 𝗀𝗲𝗄. So hi Joanne, happy birthday. So their birthday was October the 19th. and so they're not doing as well. They're still doing okay, but they're not as active as they were even a year ago. So I don't really have as many things to videotape with them. Also, my energy levels have been really down because of all the other things I have going on in my life. So I haven't been taking as much of an effort in trying to do video recordings with them. But hopefully I'll get back to posting more videos of them soon. And even if I don't do longer videos, I might just do shorter video clips, and just to have something there to share with you guys. So I know a lot of you guys love seeing them in the videos, and they also have a lot of fans, even dog fans. There's been quite a few people that have sent me messages saying that their dogs love to watch my videos because of Bella and 𝗻𝗲𝗋𝗄. Okay guys, well that's all I have to share with you today, and hopefully there'll be more videos upcoming, and I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now. Hey guys, what you doing? Y'all look a mess. I gave them a bath, but I haven't brushed their hair yet. And they need a haircut. This is my solution in my craft room right now, because they like to walk around as I'm trying to record the video, and their nails click-clack on the floor so bad that I can't concentrate. I'll be trying to talk, and then they're walking around behind me, and I'll forget what I was talking about. So y'all want to say anything to the YouTube people? Say y'all look a mess. I'll let your hair dry like that. I'm such a bad mom. Say I need to make you an appointment to go see the groomer. But yeah, especially 𝗻𝗲𝗄 is really hard, because she only lets me brush her hair for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then she's done. So it might take me a few days to get her hair all brushed out. Yep, she's my problem child. Okay, well that's all we have, you guys. I'll try to take another video once I have their hair brushed. And share that with you next time. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye.